Hello everyone, I'm coming to you from the greenhouse finally. It is a frigid 30 degrees outside today, but a balmy 67 degrees inside the greenhouse. The sun's been kind of in and out. I'm sure you can see behind me there's quite a bit of condensation on here. That was from earlier because we actually had snow 2 days ago, and this was frosted up this morning, so the condensation's blocking a bit of the sun. But anyway, I wanted to give you all an update about what I have going on in the greenhouse. It's a little bit of a mess. I have a couple projects kind of on the go, and I also have some seeding that I just did. So I wanted to get you up to speed with that. So let's get to it. All right, basically you're seeing the entranceway right now. There's nothing new there, except you got this wood laying down. It's been so very wet in here because my greenhouse is on a bit of a slope. It's the flattest part of the area behind the barn here on this field, but up above me it all slopes up, and we had so much massive amounts of snow. This is just getting wet. And if you all can remember, the majority of my soil is this real thick clay. And up in this part of the garden last year I actually had some seedlings planted, and I had some raspberries, and I think I had my onion patch up this way and my garlic. So the soil wasn't amended as much, especially where the raspberries and the seedlings were, because I didn't get a chance to put manure on it and compost to get it fluffy like the rest of the gardens, because those plants are there. But you know, as things go, those plants are now gone, the seedlings are moved, and we're back to the greenhouse. So anyway, this is a long view. I'm standing about maybe, I don't know, halfway through, maybe 40 feet in, and you can see some raised beds. I have about 55 feet done. I say about 55 feet because each bed is not a set size. What I originally wanted to do was get 16-foot boards, 2x6s, so then I'd have 5 of them. So I'd have 5 beds, or I could divide them in half to have 10 8-foot beds. But that didn't work out that well because I have a lot of this lumber was laying around the farm, and I hate to go buy new wood when this stuff here is perfectly good. Majority of this stuff was all bought last year for various projects that either didn't get done or we didn't need it anymore. So I have 55 feet of beds, and I actually have some planting done. I'll get into that in a minute. So basically what I did here was I brought up aged compost that I had, actually, that was in front of the barn. That's probably, who knows how old, 5, 6, 10 years old. And it was real compact, but it's real light stuff, real light fluffy stuff. See if I can get down in here. I do have a light layer of peat moss on the top of this, but if you dig down in here, this is my soil. So I mean, you could say it's strictly compost, which I guess basically it would be. The peat moss I put on the top, and I'm going to mix it in a bit just to help some with the moisture retention. But with it being so humid in the greenhouse, stuff won't dry out as fast as it would outside because you don't have the wind sucking the moisture out. But I mean, you squeeze the stuff, it breaks right apart. It's a nice loamy type soil, sandy, not sandy, but more like a loamy type, I would say. There's a bit of dirt mixed in, but not a lot. However, underneath that, I said these are 6-inch beds. Underneath the beds, it's just strictly this dirt here, which has been amended with compost over the years. But as I said previously, there's not as much as it is in the other parts of the garden. So root crops like radishes, heck, radishes don't really go down 6 inches. Even icicle type radishes, they'll go maybe 3-4 inches. They probably won't even be touching this rockier soil. And you know, lettuces, they don't get a huge deep root system on them from my experience, especially leaf lettuce that you're only having in here for maybe 40 days, 30-40 days. You know, things like my tomatoes, peppers, cucumbers, what have you, they'll be grown in grow bags, 5-gallon grow bags. The roots will have plenty of space to grow. So anyway, these are the beds that I got. They're 30 inches wide. The plan is, which I might have mentioned this maybe even last year, this whole section, this whole top, this is the top part, this is actually facing south, this is the south side. The whole length of it is going to be all raised beds. These reds down here I didn't put in yet for 2 reasons. 1, it's very muddy down that way from all the snow melting. 2, I don't have any more lumber. And 3, I don't need them right now. Over the course of the next few weeks, I probably will be putting them in. Excuse me. But I don't need them right now. So anyway, you might say, well, it looks like there's some stuff going on here. Well, there is. Market the market, first day of the market is in 42 days. It's in 6 weeks from today. Today is Wednesday. I think it's the 16th or something of April. So anyway, in 6 weeks, so I got to get things in like your radishes and your lettuces. Maybe a week or two early, but I'd rather be a week or two early and have these growing really, really well, and then succession plant 2 weeks from now, than to miss the mark and have everything be baby radishes, baby lettuce, and that, to me, that's a waste of time. Anyway, this bed here is about, each of these ribs is 4 feet apart. So you got 4 feet, 4 feet, and you have almost 4 feet, but you have a section down there. So let's call this one a 12-foot bed. I got 4 rows of lettuce. And basically to make the rows, what I do is I take this piece of 1x3, which is actually slatting that I use on the outside of the greenhouse to hold the plastic on. I have some extras. What it is, I laid it down vertically and just kind of wiggled it in place. Maybe when I do some more seeding, I'll show you how that's done. I just don't have my tripod out here right now. So when I do that, wiggle it around, it makes these little bit of a furrow. And then with lettuce seeds, you know, I don't even cover lettuce. I just basically put it in, water it in, the dirt from watering it in will cover it. You only need to cover it very lightly, if at all, especially leaf lettuce like this, from my experience, I should say. So I got 4 rows of that. This is just black seeded Simpson lettuce. It's quite a mouthful. And I have a mixture. I think it's either a red or another type of green. I didn't have a label. It's seed from last year, so it'll be a bit of a surprise at what comes up. The next bed here, this bed here is about maybe 7 feet long. This, I actually have some bush beans in. I got 4 rows of yellow, I'm not sure what the variety is, the yellow bush bean. And now these are earlies at 50 days, which I planted these a couple days ago. I kind of dug a couple up. I like to do that with the bigger seed to check how they're going, and they are starting to really swell. They're probably doubled in size, so I'm hoping within the next 2-3 days they're going to start emerging. You know, especially once the temperatures outside warm up, so the temperatures in here at night will stay above freezing, close to 40 degrees, which are a little cold to germinate beans, but during the day is plenty warm enough in here at 60 degrees, 60, 70 degrees. It's definitely plenty. So anyway, I'm gonna try to force some of these beans. If they're not ready by May 28th, they'll be ready by the next week in June or the following. And you know, I don't think anybody else will be having bush beans that early, especially because outside it's still very wet, very muddy. We got 3 inches of snow yesterday, so no one's gonna be in growing anything right now. And then the last bed here, these I have some radishes. I have 2 rows of Easter egg radish, which that's your white, your red, your purple, just different varieties that are all in a mix to give you a nice color display. And then in the back 2 rows are white icicle radishes. They're a little bit longer. They're about 35 days. These are about 28 to 35 days. So they should be up nice size by the time market comes. So basically that's the update on the greenhouse, about what's been planted in here, what I have planned to go yet. I got to put my shade cloth down, my weed barrier, once all this mud goes away, finish my raised beds, put some supports in here. I mean, this will come July when I have my tomatoes and cucumbers hanging from here. But stay tuned, and there's lots more to come in the next coming weeks. And next time I bring you back in here, hopefully there's lots of green. Thanks for watching.